I'd like to thank everyone for attending the Committee of Adjustment meeting, and I'd like to remind everyone as we get underway that the meeting is in person and online through Zoom and is being recorded. Everyone online will be muted with the exception of committee members and staff. All comments and questions are to be directed through the chair from committee members, staff, and the public. I'd like to remind committee members that you must speak into the microphone so that everyone online and in person can hear you. For those attendees that are online, your video picture will not be displayed. You will be muted and will not be able to unmute yourself during your application during an application you have not requested to attend unless you raise your hand. At the beginning of each application, I will call the applicant forward. The owner or applicant in attendance may come to the table to your right to speak to the committee. This microphone is live and you must speak into the microphone. If the owner or applicant is online, you will be unmuted. The committee will ask for comments from the public during each application. Please provide your name and address for the public record. All comments and questions should be directed to the chair and only speak when it is your turn. If you're in person and would like to speak to an application, one at a time, you may approach the podium and speak. This microphone will be live. If you're on the video portion of the Zoom meeting and you would like to speak and your microphone is muted, please click on the raise hand button located on the bottom of your screen. Staff will notify me that you wish to speak. If you're attending by telephone and you wish to speak, please dial *9 to raise your hand, which will signal staff that you wish to speak. Once a decision has been made concerning your application, you're welcome to leave the hearing while the committee continues with the next application. Members in attendance today are Bruce Craig, Paul Veenstra, Todd Robertson, and myself, Jim Keogh. Our staff in attendance are Senior Planner Lindsay Lambert, Planner Kyle Peel, and Secretary Treasurer Amanda Werner McKellar. Okay, first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Any committee members have any changes they wish to make?
No.
None here.
Nope.
Nor do I. Need a mover and a seconder? Moved by Todd, seconded by Paul. That the agenda be adopted as circulated. All in favor?
Yes.
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 I am also carried. Second item on the agenda is the adoption of the minutes from March 3rd, 2026. Any committee members have any changes or suggestions to make?
None here.
None here.
Nope.
Nor do I. So we need a mover and a seconder again.
Here.
Moved by Bruce, seconded by Todd. That the minutes of the March 3rd hearing of the Committee of Adjustment be adopted as circulated. All in favor?
Yes.
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 I am also carried. Is there anyone with a pecuniary interest or any other type in our meeting today?
None here, sir.
I have none.
No.
Nor do I. Okay. There you go. Okay, first on our agenda today is application D13-2026-002-905 Woodbridge Lane. Amanda.
Yes, and we have the owner and agent online if you need to speak with them. So the purpose of the application, so it's requesting zoning relief from the zoning bylaw to facilitate a dwelling with approximately 104 square meters of ground floor area with an approximate 20.8 square meter attached covered deck and approximate 31.2 square meter attached uncovered deck. An existing dwelling is proposed to be demolished to facilitate the proposed development. The proposed new dwelling and attached decking do not comply with the minimum setback from the high water mark of the adjacent water body. An existing detached garage, shed, and marine facility are proposed to remain on the property. Of note, the property overlaps the municipal boundary between Leeds and the Thousand Islands and Athens. However, the proposed dwelling that is subject to this application is within the portion of the property located in Leeds and the Thousand Islands. A new septic bed is proposed within the TLTI portion of the property, and the associated septic bed is proposed within the Township of Athens area of the property. The septic bed is not subject to the zoning bylaw as it is located within Athens Township. While the new septic tank is located within 30 meters of the high water mark of the adjacent water body, it is not included in this application as the bylaw states where an existing septic disposal system is to be replaced. The new system is to be repositioned on the property as per the provisions of this bylaw, or if the setback from a water body or water course cannot be met, as far back as physically possible from the water body or water course, but no closer than the existing system.
Okay, Lindsay, could we have your report, please?
Thank you, Chair, and through you. So as noted, this application is for a minor variance, and the application is seeking zoning relief for a proposed dwelling that is to have a greater setback than that of the existing dwelling, and the existing dwelling is proposed to be demolished. The proposed dwelling includes an attached covered deck and an attached uncovered deck. The proposed minimum setback of the new dwelling from the high water mark of the adjacent water body is 19.35 meters. This application was deferred at the March 3rd Committee of Adjustment meeting to provide an opportunity for the process and jurisdiction involved with the new septic system to serve the new dwelling. The subject property straddles the municipal boundary between TLTI and the Township of Athens. The new dwelling and septic tank are proposed within the municipal boundary of TLTI, whereas the proposed septic bed is proposed within the portion of the property located within the Township of Athens. It has been confirmed post-deferral that the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks is not required. Their approval is not required for the septic system, and that the approval authority for the septic tank is TLTI, and the permit issuance and process for the septic bed will fall under the jurisdiction of the Township of Athens. With respect to the minor variance for reduced setback from the proposed replacement dwelling, staff's review has concluded that the proposal meets the 4 tests of a minor variance under the Planning Act. The property is constrained with no opportunity for a new dwelling to comply with the minimum 30-meter water body setback. The proposed new setback is a notable improvement from the setback of the current dwelling. The application is consistent with the planning documents that apply to the township. The dwelling complies with all other provisions of the township zoning bylaw. No undue adverse impacts are anticipated as a result of the proposed development. To date, staff have not received any comments from members of the public. The recommendation submitted today through correspondence from the Charleston Lake Association has been incorporated into the recommended conditions included in the staff report. And the CRCA has reviewed the application and has provided comments noting no objection to the approval of the application based on its consideration of natural hazard policies and regulations. Therefore, staff recommend approval of this application in accordance with the details and conditions enclosed within the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you. Amanda, any other public comments? Anything we need to hear about?
We had just received the comments from the Conservation Authority with no objections. And then this morning we received comments from Roy Angelo from the Charleston Lake Association and Charleston Lake Environmental Association, just recommending that the committee encourage the landowner to enhance and maintain a natural shoreline, including native vegetation along the shore and waterfront area in order to create a resilient shoreline. And we've not received any further written comments.
Thanks, Amanda. Is there anyone in attendance or on Zoom that in the audience that wishes to speak to this application?
No, we have no one online and no one in the audience looking to speak to the application.
Committee members, any questions? Todd?
If I may, through you, Chair, just a clarification. I heard you say that the Township of Athens, as we were aware at the last meeting, has jurisdiction over the issuance of a permit for the septic bed. Has that been issued at this point, or was that the clarification we saw from the last meeting? I'm just having a hard time recalling, that's all. Thank you.
Through you, Chair. At the time when the decision was made to recommend deferral of the application, it was unclear as to who would have jurisdiction over the approval of the septic system. simply confirming who had jurisdiction. So, and ensuring that if the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks had involvement, that we would make sure to have comment and direction from them. It was around the time of the actual meeting after the deferral report had been written and added to the agenda that we had received the confirmation that the jurisdiction falls between the two municipalities in terms of the septic bed and the septic tank.
Thank you very much.
Bruce, any questions?
No, since the new build is going to be moved a fair bit away from the water body, I have no questions or concerns.
Nothing here.
Yeah, nor do I. So we guess we need a motion to move this ahead. Bruce and Todd. Moved by Bruce, seconded by Todd, that application D13-2026-002 be approved subject to the conditions as included in the planner's report and the decision of the committee, and we're ready to vote.
Yes.
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 I am also carried. Second on the list today is D13-2026-005 929 Burma Lane. So Amanda, would you give us your spiel here?
Yes, and we have the owner here today if we have questions. The application is requesting a permission to expand the existing legal non-complying dwelling and attached uncovered decking. The existing dwelling and attached uncovered decking are legal non-complying with respect to the minimum setback from the high water mark of the adjacent water body and the minimum 30-meter front yard setback of the shoreline residential zone.
Lindsay, you give us your report, please.
Thank you, Chair. And as noted, this is a permission application for 929 Burma Lane, requesting approval to expand an existing legal non-complying dwelling with the attached uncovered decking also proposed to be expanded. The legal non-compliance of the existing dwelling and decking is with respect to the minimum 30-meter setback from the adjacent water body, as well as the minimum 30-meter front yard setback of the shoreline residential zone. The proposed expansion of the dwelling is 25 square meters, and it is proposed to expand the attached uncovered decking by 26 square meters. As detailed in the staff report, the proposal complies with the land use planning documents applicable to the township, and in particular, the tests established within the township official plan for the expansion of a legal non-complying structure, as well as the water body protection policies. The proposed dwelling addition and attached decking do not encroach within the established water body setback of the existing dwelling and decking. The dwelling complies with all other provisions of the township zoning bylaw. No undue adverse impacts are anticipated from the proposed development. With respect to input, staff have not received any comments from members of the public to date. And the recommendation submitted by the Charleston Lake Association has been incorporated into the recommended conditions included in the staff report. The CRCA has reviewed the application and has provided written comments noting no objection to the approval of the application, and therefore staff recommend approval of this application in accordance with the details and conditions within the staff report. Thank you.
Amanda, any other comments?
We had comments from the Conservation Authority with no objections, and then we received comments from Roy Angelo, Charleston Lake Association, and Charleston Lake Environmental Association, just recommending that the committee encourage the landowner to enhance and maintain a natural shoreline, including native vegetation along the shore and waterfront area, in order to create a resilient shoreline. And that's all the written comments we have received.
Okay, is there anyone in attendance today that wishes to speak to the application?
We have no one online and no one in the audience looking to speak to the application.
Okay, committee members, start with you, Todd. Any questions for the applicant?
No questions or concerns. The request seems very appropriate for the existing building and site.
Bruce?
Since the proposed addition is not going to encroach any closer to Charleston than the existing building is I have no questions or concerns.
Paul?
Nothing here.
Nor do I. So, we need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Todd, seconded by Paul. Moved by Todd, seconded by Paul, on application D13-2026-005 be approved, subject to the conditions as included in the planner's report and the decision of the committee, and we're ready to vote.
Yes.
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 And I am also carried. Third on our list today is D13-2026-006 38 Dark Island Lane. Amanda, you give us your line on this.
Yes, and we have the agent online if you have any questions. So the application is requesting a permission to expand an existing legal non-complying structure with a 16.7 square meter addition on the north side of the existing 59.9 square meter dwelling. The proposed addition is for storage purposes. The existing dwelling is legal non-complying with respect to the minimum setback from the high water mark of the adjacent water body and the minimum 10-meter setback from a private right-of-way and the following provisions of the shoreline residential zone: the minimum 30-meter front yard setback, maximum 10% lot coverage, and minimum 3-meter interior side yard.
Okay, Lindsay, can you give us your report, please?
Thank you, Chair, and through you. So this is a combined permission and minor variance application for the property known as 38 Dark Island Lane. The permission aspect of the application is a request to expand an existing legal non-complying structure with an addition on the north side of the existing building. The existing structure is a legal non-complying building with respect to the minimum setback from the high water mark of the water body adjacent to the property, as well as the minimum 10-meter setback from a private right-of-way, and also the following provisions from the shoreline residential zone: the minimum 30-meter front yard setback, maximum 10% lot coverage, and minimum 3-meter interior side yard. The variance aspect of the application is requesting zoning relief with respect to the minimum 7.5-meter rear yard setback of the shoreline residential zone. The proposed setback of the dwelling with the new addition is 5.96 meters. The existing rear yard setback of the dwelling is 9.05 meters. As detailed in the staff report, the proposal has been found to be consistent with the land use planning documents applicable to the township, in particular with the policy tests in the township official plan regarding expansions to legal non-complying structures, as well as the water body protection policies. The requested zoning relief from the minimum 7.5-meter rear yard meets the 4 tests of a minor variance under the Planning Act. The proposed development maintains the existing water body setback of the built form on the property. No undue adverse impacts are anticipated as a result of the proposed development. The proposed setback does maintain sufficient depth for zoning compliant off-street parking, and negative impacts with respect to the functionality and maintenance of Dark Island Lane are not anticipated. To date, staff have not received any comments from members of the public. The CRCA has reviewed the application and has noted it through their written comments that they have no objection to the approval of this application, and therefore staff recommend approval in accordance with the details and conditions within the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you. Amanda, any other comments we need to hear about?
Just the comments from the Conservation Authority with no objections, and we've not received any further written public comments.
Okay. Is there anyone in attendance from the audience that wishes to speak to the application?
We have no one in the audience and no one online looking to speak to the application.
Committee members, any questions for the applicant? Todd, start with you.
The only question I had was with respect to the zoning requirements for off-street parking, which was addressed in the report. So I have no further questions.
Bruce?
I have no questions or concerns.
Paul?
Yeah, nothing here.
No, or do I? So we need a mover and a seconder again. Moved by
Bruce.
Bruce, seconded by Todd, or Paul. Yep.
Thought I heard Paul.
Mhm. It's Been moved by Bruce, seconded by Paul, that application D13 2026 006 be approved, subject to conditions as included in the planner's report. And the decision of the committee. Ready to vote?
Yes.
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 And I am also carried. So last, today is D13 2026 007 481 Bostwick Island. Amanda, would you give us your spiel on it?
Yes, and we have the owner online if you have any questions. So the application is requesting a permission to expand an existing legal non-complying dwelling. A 19 square meter, 3-season sunroom addition is proposed to be added to the existing dwelling. The existing dwelling is legal non-complying with respect to the minimum setback from the high water mark of a water body and the minimum 30-meter setback of the island residential zone. Of note, a site visit was not undertaken due to seasonal constraints with accessing the property by water at this time of year. However, staff completed a detailed review of videos and photos of the property submitted with the application to complete their assessment and inform the recommendation of the subject application.
Lindsay. Good.
Thank you, Chair, and through you. So this final application on the agenda is with respect to the property known as 481 Bostwick Island. It's a permission application requesting to expand an existing legal non-complying dwelling with a proposed 19 square meter, 3-season sunroom addition. The existing dwelling is legal non-complying with respect to the minimum setback from the high water mark of the water body adjacent to the property, as well as the minimum 30-meter setback of the island residential zone for the front yard. As detailed in the staff report, the proposal complies with the land use planning documents of the township, and in particular, the tests of the township official plan with respect to the expansion of legal non-complying structures, as well as the water body protection policies. The proposed 3-season sunroom addition does not encroach within the established water body setback of the existing dwelling. The dwelling complies with all other provisions of the township zoning bylaw. No undue adverse impacts are anticipated from this proposed development. With respect to comments received, to date, staff have not received any input from the public with respect to this application, and the CRCA has provided written comments noting no concerns from a natural hazards policy or regulatory perspective, and therefore staff recommend approval of the application in accordance with the details and conditions enclosed within the staff report. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other comments?
No, we just received the comments from the Conservation Authority with no objections, and we've not received any further written public comments.
Thanks, Amanda. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to this application?
There is no one in the audience and no one online looking to speak to the application.
Okay, we'll start with Todd. Any questions for the applicant, Todd?
No questions, just a thank you for the extensive video, photo, and other documentation submitted, given the fact we're not able to do a site visit. That was greatly appreciated, but no questions or concerns.
Bruce?
Since the proposed development seems to be behind the existing cottage and away from the St. Lawrence, I have no concerns.
Paul?
Yeah, nothing here.
Nor do I. So we need a mover and a seconder again. Moved by Todd, seconded by Paul. Moved by Todd, seconded by Paul, that the application D13 2026 007 be approved, subject to the conditions as included in the planner's report and the decision of the committee. And we're ready to vote.
Yes.
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 I am also carried. So we need a motion to adjourn. 12 minutes.
No, we don't have any further business to discuss, so we can move to adjournment.
Adjourn, Todd. Seconded by Paul. The committee of adjustment will adjourn to meet again at the call of the secretary. All in favor?
Yes.
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 And I'm also carried.